let's say we're at a 1 through 10, we're like a 8 distracted, society. I think AI is going to put us at a 10 or over, because the capitalistic approach is going to be like, how can we use this to make even more, distract people and make people consume even more than they do? And now I'll throw in, this is my pitch. If AI is going to do that, it's going to make us hyper distracted or maybe hyper consuming. Well, why can't it make us hyper mindful?
That teacher-student relationship is so key. I mean, it is what really has kept me in the arena, and I think it's what keeps me teaching as well. Like, I really enjoy sitting and being with a student, and also sitting and being the student.
Ancient kind of technology, because that's what meditation mindfulness is. It's ancient technology meets modern innovation. And so where I see it, what I think really needs to be done is that work needs to continue. We need to build just kind of a robust amount, findings or research that support, what works, what doesn't work, how do these affect mental outcomes when we start using these digital tools. So now what you see is AI is going to be infused into all those studies.
Raw, uncut, and unapologetic. Welcome to Men Talking Mindfulness.
Students are stressed, the world is loud, and now even meditation has gone high-tech. With AI coaches, VR headsets, biofeedback, is this the future of calm, cool, and connected, or just a fancier distraction? Our guest today, Dr. Steve Haberlin, assistant professor at the University of Central Florida, is a pioneer bridging the gap between ancient wisdom and mindfulness technology. With over 29 years of classroom experience, Steve has a front row seat to this new wave of tech-powered mindfulness. Today, we are going to dig into how mindfulness practices are changing the classroom for the better, and what for all this new mindful tech could mean for the future of students and humanity. Steve, welcome to the show. Great having you here today.
Great to be here, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
awesome. You. John's still on the show, guys. John's here as well. Hey, John. All right, what's up?
I am here. Good to see you. Man, I'm actually really excited to get into this conversation because I'm a kind of a tech nerd. I enjoy technological advances, but we also have to be wary of the technological advances and what, we can't just embrace them right off the bat. We have to understand them. So, Steve, I'm excited to have this conversation to have a better understanding of what the technology is doing with mindfulness, and then what that is doing with those who are using it. But that aside, a quick couple of announcements. We've still got our MTM Spartan race. Well, it is a Spartan race that we are competing in. And you can join our team if you just go to mentalkingmindfulness.com. We've got all the details up there to sign up. And that's real quick, down and dirty. Oh, yeah, one more thing. If you wanted to hire me or Will to do any type of workshop on leadership, mindfulness, meditation, we do our own stuff, but then we've started doing stuff together in corporate America with law enforcement and everybody else. So, hey, if you're interested in that, if you would need something like that, we encourage you to reach out.
Yeah.
All right, quick. That was a quick shameless plug, but now we're going to get into that one breath grounding practice. Well, I think we know what that looks like, so no explanation needed. So let's just jump right in. Let's begin with a nice exhalation, breathing all that out and holding empty for a second. And then a nice, long, slow, deep breath in, filling all the way to the top and holding, and just let that go. Let that go and bring some movement back into your body, maybe rolling your neck, cracking your knuckles. All right. Hey, let's get into this, man. Let's jump right in. So, Steve, man, this work, why are you in it? Why are you so committed to this work?
Well, I'm a 30-year mindfulness or 30-year meditation practitioner, so I'm an old school guy, old school meditation.
Yeah.
But what's happened is I think I've kind of evolved, and my research and my practice has kind of evolved with the time. So as the techs come in, I've become more interested in where that's heading and how it can help us. So, I mean, I've meditated the last few decades, but in the last probably 10 years, you see the neuroscience that's come out has really caught up with what meditation can do. So I think, the masters, the traditional masters and the experts, they always said meditation was good for us. But it was like you had to believe, you had to kind of buy into it and trust that was the case, or you try your own personal experience. But then In recent years, the neuroscience had advanced to the point where now we can brain images show exactly what's happening. We know what's going on in the physiology. So I don't think there's much doubt now that it's good for us or that it's having some kind of effect on us. So that was the first wave of science, but now we're into another wave of science, because I think why I keep doing this work is because I see another evolution coming of AI, where now you have an artificial intelligence able to perhaps serve as a medication coach or teacher, to read into our, biometrics and guide us in real time, and we could talk about hyper personalization. So I see a whole nother wave. And I think the intelligent thing to do is to try to get ahead of it a little bit, as meditation experts, mental health, wellness experts, try to get a little bit ahead of it, so that, you said it, John, we have to figure out, what's going to be good for us, what's not going to work, what are the pitfalls, and so to try to get out there and map it out a little bit first. And not that I'm going to have all the answers, but I think jumping out ahead and saying, hey guys, at least a giant wave coming, and it's going to affect all of our practice. It's going to affect all of the traditional meditation mindfulness we've done for decades. It's coming, and how do we best navigate it? I guess that would be the word. How do we navigate it?
Yeah, and that's a really super. We're okay with the mic, right, John? We're okay. Yeah,
you're a little bit loud. You suddenly got loud there for a second.
All right, I don't know what happened. I got really excited, so my voice took up, or I got more powerful, maybe. Anyway,
I'm messing up your flow all over the place.
I know. Maybe leave some of that in, Rob. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so back to the show. Okay. So thanks for that, Steve. I don't want to, right at the top, I would like to actually, thanks for that kind of introduction. And this is a very interesting landscape that we're in right now, and we're all kind of a part of it. We're all, kind of the test subjects of it right now, as we see what's working, what's not working, and then trying to figure out the path forward. And but let's actually talk about the students first, right? Okay. So you've been a teacher for almost 30 years. When you look back when you started 30 years ago to now, has the quality of the student changed that's showing up in your classroom today?
Well, I taught all levels of students. So I started as a middle school teacher, which if you've ever been in middle school, you don't last very long as a middle school teacher. So that was about 2 or 3 years. And then I shifted to elementary students. I taught them. And by the time I taught elementary students about 7 years. By the time I was done, I was infusing some mindfulness and yoga practice and things like that in there. Yeah. But then I'd say in the last probably 10 years, I've worked with undergraduates and now doctoral students. So all levels. I would say the big change was, I was just talking with someone about this, was social media. Was probably when social media came out. Yeah. Because, right, you saw the statistics show, the correlation shows, and I think it's it was teenage girls were affected even more than the males with social media, but you kind of see a spiking anxiety and stress and depression, all of that about the time that social media really took off. So I think that's when probably teachers would say they really, in the smartphone, the iPhone, when the smartphone came in, the iPhone came in the classrooms, you see a real difference in students in a few ways, not only stress levels, but distraction, just being distractible. And, a lot of them, think about it, but a lot of them, sleep quality was affected, because I would have students that were on their phones till, 2, 3 in the morning, whatever, playing Candy Crush or something. And then, they come in and then you're trying to teach them and they're like zombies. So I think that's where you started to see a lot of changes was the technology advancing, and then young people trying to get their heads around it and not doing so well. I'm talking obviously in general terms, but they're not doing so well mentally with the technological advances. Yeah.
Did you change your kind of teaching style to kind of match that? Do you feel like you need to kind of entertain more versus just talking very, directly about a particular topic,
I do. I think teachers did have to try to more engaging and shorten their sentences and make things more hands-on. What I did though, when I got to teaching undergraduates, my change was I brought, that's how I got into this work more, as I brought mindfulness in. I just brought meditation and mindfulness into the classroom. Right. That was my anecdote, because I drew on what had worked for me and in my background, and I had done some dissertation work with mindfulness. So my first professor teaching gig, I was working with undergrads, and they would come in, and they were so stressed, they were so tired, they were so distracted. And then I said, how am I going to, this was in-person classes at this small private college. So how am I going to teach them? They're just not ready to learn, they're not in the right the mental space. So what I did was, I have the bowl behind me. I just brought in the meditation bowl, little Tibetan singing bowl. I just said, listen to this sound. And I rang the bowl and I would just have them listen to it. And I said, listen to it like it's music. And let's just do that for a minute or two. And then we'll start class, like, let's do a little reset, kind of like what you guys do with the breath, but I did the bowl. And because I knew students love music, love sound, a lot of them played instruments, and they looked at, I'm not lying though, but they looked at me strange. There was strange looks. Like, they were like, this guy, we knew he was a nutty professor, but now we didn't really know this guy is out of his mind. So but I kept with it. And then what I did was I rang the bowl, and then I said, follow your breath. Just try to pay attention to where your breath is and kind of coming in the nostril. And that was very simple instructions. And I said, if you get distracted, just come back to the breath. So I sneaked it in, and then I kind of gradually did that. And I did that maybe a semester or two, and I started to collect some data on that and ask them about their experience. And then what happens, it caught a little bit of fire. And other professors on campus said, what are you doing? We heard your students are doing some kind of meditation or something like that. What are you doing? I said, I'll show you what I'm doing. And then we started to work together during one semester and compare notes. And maybe 6 or 7 professors were doing it in their classrooms. We were seeing some pretty good effects. Yeah, it wasn't like everybody. This was a small college though, so 6 or 7 professors was maybe almost 10% of the faculty. So it wasn't, I don't want listeners to think like, I don't want viewers to think like every faculty member jumped out and started doing mindfulness. It wasn't like that. It was a team. It was a small team. They were into it themselves and they did it. And then we collected notes and then I wrote the first book I wrote was basically like a guidebook of what we did, the scripts we used and how we did it. And then how we maybe introduced because then I started introducing like loving kindness and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that was my approach, guys, was not really so much engaging. It was like, how do I bring the stress level down and how do I increase the focus level on these young people? Yeah.
And it worked? Like, did you see
it worked.
Like it did? Like, I mean, what would you say, like 10, 20, 30%, 50% increase in focus or something?
I didn't measure the statistical mental outcomes there. There was a lot of qualitative at this time. I didn't have the resources, so there was a lot of qualitative data as far as them self-reporting out that it would reduce stress or increase focus. And obviously anecdotally we were able to see that those kind of changes in the students. Later on I've collected since then, working at a university, we could talk about some of the mental outcomes. It definitely works. I mean, those kind of interventions do help students. The one thing I found with my classroom in the early days, though, is some students wouldn't want to do it. So I framed it as an invitation and I said, I'm going to invite you to this brief practice. And if you want to do something else, like, doodle or sit there or read a book or something, I gave them a way out so that they didn't feel excluded. So there was like a small percentage, that maybe out of 10 students, maybe 1 or 2 didn't join in the practice and didn't do it. So I don't know how kind of affected them. But yeah, moving over to undergrads at a university, having some more colleagues to research, and also looking at the larger body of research. Yeah, definitely mindfulness interventions work, meditation interventions. There's a small to medium kind of what we'd say effect in stress reduction. Anxiety goes down. In some cases, depression goes down generally in the research, in the data. Focus, cognitive improvement. All those mental health outcomes seem to go in the right directions. It seems to help. What we don't have so much evidence on, the mixed results is on, does it improve academic performance? It's kind of a mixed bag. Some studies show that like quiz or final exam scores go up, and then some, it doesn't really make a difference. It doesn't really show, but those are like semester-long studies, so maybe it could be that they need to do it over longer periods of time. But yeah. So what we can say mental health-wise, it's a low-cost, accessible intervention that I'm 100% behind putting that into colleges, universities. It makes sense.
Agreed.
Wonderful.
So we talked about the anxiety, the stress levels, potentially the depression levels changing, and then the test scores were it's inconclusive. But the the attention span. I did a talk recently on the decrease in attention span, and then the increase in frustration levels for people, which is driven by stress. It's driven by lack of sleep, like you were talking before. Probably playing Candy Crush until 2 a.m.
All night.
But yeah, that attention span. How long have you maybe noticed, like nowadays, before a student reaches for this, and as a teacher, are you saying, hey, no phones in class? Has that attention span decreased with technology?
Yeah, I don't teach undergrads nowadays. I teach graduate students, but the undergrad days, it was very short. They had to have their phone. It was often in their hand. They'd have to have it on their desk. They would kind of have some anxiety if you even told them to put it away. Instructors had different policies. There's someone as extreme as where they collect it in like a bin before class and then hand it back out, and that really freaks out some students, and they feel like that's kind of a violation. So I think it depends on the professor in the classroom. I did some fun experiments, some little experiments where I would have them get a piece of paper, and I had them tally every time. Not only they reached for their phone, but every time they thought about reaching for their phone. And some of them would come away, 30 tallies within 10 minutes or so. It blew their mind, because then they realized they basically were addicted to their phones, to technology. And I'm probably,
for sure.
in some days, I'm probably just as bad or worse, because I'm using it for work or something, but my mind's trained on it. Yeah, I think we're all facing it.
Well, that's a great exercise. I mean, that's mindfulness, like just even being aware, right? Again, awareness. Right, about like how many times you want to touch your phone. It's so funny. Like it's one of my little cousins. He's an undergrad at Penn State. It's his birthday today, and I always call him on his birthday. And he texts me back. He's like, he texts me back from his phone. Oh, I'm in class. I'll call you later. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude! Like, turn off your phone.
I thought you were in class.
Like turn off your phone. I mean, like I have my, I teach yoga, actual in-person yoga classes here a couple days a week in the city. And we're right in the heart of the East Village, where NYU and other, I think Cooper Union's right there. So we have all these students that come in, and at the door, regardless of the age of anybody, I'm like, phones in your bag, like no phones, and then I'll tell them like, who are you without your phone? Like discover, if you're getting class early. I mean, it really, God, I mean, we all are kind of a little bit itching for it a little, I mean, it's just such an easy, God, John.
Will and I, in our workshops that we run, we have a mindful break. And that mindful break, we ask the people, hey, try to take this break without your cell phone.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
And it's only 10 minutes. And then we come back and I'm like, okay, so how did that feel? And everybody thinks that I'm looking for them to say, oh, it felt great to be off my phone. And I mean, that would be fantastic if 10 minutes without your phone made you feel great. But normally they're like, I felt really anxious without it. I felt like I was missing something, or I didn't have a chance to respond to my texts or emails. It's like, well, that shows you right there what this is causing, what this is doing for us. We're chained to it. And you mentioned, Steve talking about doing work on it. That's where it really gets even more addicting, I think, because you trick yourself into be like, oh, well, I'm just going to check it for work. Right. And then you'll check your social media, or you'll check your personal email or whatever. Anyway, I'm going down a rabbit hole. So
could I add something could I add a point to that, John?
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to scare you guys, but here's my theory. AI is gonna create. So we're probably let's say we're at a 1 through 10, we're like a 8 distracted, society. I think AI is gonna put us at a 10 or over.
But
because
why?
Yeah, because it's gonna be even better at distracting us using the technology. Imagine you had this super villain, and you put him. I don't know if I should say villain, but you had this super
villain
helper, this super assistant, and you put him in there, and you say, okay, help me keep people on social media longer. Help me have them buy more stuff on Amazon. That's where I think that the AI is, whether that's talked about out loud, I think that's probably the capitalistic approach is going to be like, how can we use this to make even more, distract people and make people consume even more than they do?
And not only is their attention span going to decrease, but their ability to think cognitively,
Right.
to recall facts. Like, and I've found myself doing it quite a lot. Like this morning, Will and I have talked about Phil Jackson on the show and his mindfulness practice, and I saw this picture of Michael Jordan yelling at Phil Jackson, but for some reason I could not remember Phil Jackson's name. And what did I do? I went into ChatGPT. I was like, hey, who was Michael Jordan's coach? Phil Jackson. Boom.
Right.
Hey, I didn't have to sit there and think about it for longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, and the other side, saw this YouTube video the other day. Funny enough, there I was being distracted by social media. I'd gone on YouTube to look up something else, and I got sucked into this short, but it was hilarious. It says something about, what if every single conversation you have is on ChatGPT? And this guy, he walks into a grocery or a convenience store, and he types in, hey, what do I say to the clerk? And it gives him an answer, and then he talks to the clerk, reading the response, and then the clerk has his phone and he ChatGPT's
my
back.
God.
Right, which is like that.
And back and forth, and they just have and then they both reach their limit, right? That they have clearly have unpaid versions of ChatGPT, and they're like, "You reached your limit for the day," and they're like, "Oh, what do I do?"
Funny. Yeah, it's funny. That's actually really funny.
Hysterical.
Well, I mean, can I just I want to go a little bit deeper into this, Steve. Do you feel like this is going to be, we think we're distracted now at an 8, now we're going to go to a 10. Is that because, with AI, I mean, and I love it, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I love it. I use it all the time. I think I use it very effectively, to just grow my business, to access more curiosity, ask good questions. You know what I mean? Just, I think it's an incredible tool. But you feel it's going to take that distraction level up to a 10 and absolute craziness and chaos. And nobody's focusing really, is because it's like it's going to make our desire easier to be met. You know what I mean? Like, whereas like, because we have we talk often, whether it's porn, whether it's tech, it's just dopamine. There's dopamine that is constantly manipulating us all the time. So is that where technology is go from an 8 to a 10?
I think it's going to use those things. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I agree.
It's becoming smarter and it's becoming more advanced. So people don't always have the best intentions. People that want to capitalize on that and make say a lot of money out of that. They're smarter than there's people out there that are probably already are working on those kind of things. Like how do we use it so that people, I don't know, if maybe stay on this website longer, they feed into the vote. So it kind of guides you maybe in directions that you don't want to be guided. It uses you. So I think we're heading towards like being a hyper consumer, but then there's people like yourselves, and just how you said, will you use it? There's going to be hyper creatives. So there's going to be people that are intentional enough that it's not that we're totally immune to AI and the technology, but we're able to, maybe mindfulness helps with this, but you're able to step back a little bit and go, okay, this thing is a reality, this phenomenon. How can I use it to create and enhance my work and create even more than I'm doing now? There's going to be like those kind of people, right, segmented, and there's going to be people that are less, let's say, distracted or not as mindful, and that are going to gravitate towards the just consume more or be more distracted. Maybe the negative, right, kind of the dark side of it. I think it's going to be split. You're going to see kind of groups or splits like that, but or just individuals just responding it to different. And now I'll throw in, this is my pitch. If AI is going to do that, it's going to make us hyper distracted or maybe hyper consuming. Well, why can't it make us hyper mindful? Why can't we use the tool to just enhance, not replace our meditation or old school practices, but why can't we use it to enhance, maybe learn a meditation technique faster, maybe guide us, maybe use real-time data to dial us in more. That's where I'm coming from. Let's use this thing in a beneficial way, and let's soak it and get the most out of this, because we're going to be living in this reality anyway.
May as well
flip it on its head. Let's turn it around and become hyper mindful.
You just talked about how there's people in social media who are literally using AI to engineer the social media so it's more sticky, so that we stay on it longer. Well, then you also just said that there's apps and technology out there that we can use to be more mindful. Well, are the apps, is the technology helping us to be more mindful, or are we going to be at the whim of those same social media managers where they kind of outsource our inner life to algorithms?
Probably a mix of both, and it probably depends on probably a mix of both, and probably depends on your background. So if you're an experienced meditator or you have knowledge of it or something, you're probably going to approach it differently than as you just jump on the first time and you start using this AI chatbot, to learn meditation. I think where you're coming from and your background's going to probably filter or color how you approach it. But I think just the bottom line is being intentional and saying, okay, there are these now AI is being, or what we might call AI mindfulness, right? There's these tools where it's being infused in calm. Headspace just came out with an AI chatbot.
Really?
Yeah, called EBB, and I have no affiliation with any of these companies. I don't get any kickback. EB, which I've yet to try, but I've been reading, researching it. EBB. In real time, you can interact with it. You talk about your problems, your meditation experiences, and it's supposed to support you as you go through the app kind of, protocol and mechanisms. You have virtual reality now with, we were talking about that with the Trip app. They have a virtual AI avatar that's not going to guide you, and it does. It guides you through real-time meditation or breath work. So these tools are out there, and they're only going to expand. My prediction is they're going to get more advanced. They're going to get better, because these are the prototypes. And as these things kind of expand and get better, we have to be intentional about, how are we going to use it? Why are we going to use it?
Right.
How do we infuse it? What our existing meditation practice? I've tried to write that in my book, put a protocol about balance, and how do we kind of manage it and navigate it so it doesn't, maybe we don't become over reliant on the technology, and we don't know how to meditate without it. Here's my metaphor is, have you guys ridden an e-bike? You probably mountain bike. You seem like the kind of guys that mountain bike or something, right?
Oh my gosh, the mountain bikes, they drives me nuts.
Have you seen the e-bike, and they fly up the hill, right?
Yeah.
You go, how do they fly up the hill? And my nephew, we were mountain biking. My nephew goes, they fly up the hill, uncle, because they have a motor. They're an e-bike. They're electric. And I go, So I compare traditional meditation as the mountain biking. It's pedaling up the hill, right? You're doing the hard work. You learn to balance. You're a purist. And all of a sudden, these e-bikes come in. You have to make the decision. You go, okay, am I going to stick on the traditional bike? Am I going to try the e-bike and maybe pedal once in a while? Am I just going to ride it up the hill and then maybe do some or am I going to, you ever see those people, they just fly around and they're not even pedaling, right? It's just like a tour of the trails. So I think that's a metaphor, right? That's imagery for, okay, all of this stuff is coming. We know traditional meditation and mindfulness is good for us, and we shouldn't throw that out. We shouldn't throw the tradition, right? We know biking is good for us, but how are we going to bring in these other two? How often are we going to pedal? Should we even pedal some days? Should we not?
Yes, we fucking should. I mean, I think we really should. I mean, honestly, if you're not putting in the effort, I guess there's a difference between, a guided meditation, but I can't even really picture an AI model or a meditative, a meditative teacher meditating for us. That's not the point.
No,
you know what I mean?
I don't think that's the point.
Right?
Well,
go ahead, John.
I mean, here's kind of my pushback against that analogy, and believe me, I'm a purist. I live in Colorado. I've got my mountain bike.
Today. Guys,
I'm old school. Other than a guided meditation, I test this stuff out. But when I sit on my couch, I'm old school.
Yeah, just
same brother. Fuck yeah.
So, coming to the analogy of the mountain biker, okay, if that person is not on an e-bike, are they going to be on any kind of bike? Or are they going to be? Are they going to be sitting on their couch binging Netflix,
doom scrolling?
I would rather they be out on a bike, even if it is an e-bike. They're out in nature. They're enjoying themselves in a way that isn't binging something. So coming back, using that analogy, coming back to the reality here with the mindfulness and meditation, if somebody is going to use virtual reality or AI to meditate, but without it, they're not going to meditate.
Yeah. Is that
a good thing? And here's my additional caveat to my pushback on my pushback. So we talked about the social engineering, right? Social media engineering. What's to say that there aren't people there that are trying to in the meditation itself,
Yeah.
put in some type of subliminal messaging saying, hey, like, I'm not kidding. Like,
No,
hey,
I fucking hear you.
buy more shit on Amazon.
Sure.
Buy this
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
without us
yeah.
knowing.
Well,
Oh my
John,
God, that's a great point.
the smartphone apps have used gamification. I mean, they use
Oh, sure.
streaks and they use all the bells and
Dude,
whistles to try to keep
I've
going.
got an 86-day streak.
There you go. Because when you quit,
Yeah.
you're not paying the subscription. It's a subscription model. So the problem with that, though, this is kind of an aside, but it hasn't worked. They haven't done a real good job. It's something like 95% of meditation app users quit within the first 30 days. So
Oh, wow.
And that's
for whatever reason, yeah, they're putting in the gimmicks and stuff, and trying to test those. So I think that's what AI is going to further personalize and provide maybe that coaching support that they're missing, because they're not working that well. But back to your original point, if somebody does meditate, though, uses a technology or what we call digital mindfulness tool, and they get outcomes, let's say their stress level does go down, their blood pressure does go down, or their HRV improve, whether I don't know. That's where it varies from my metaphor a little bit, because they could still get the benefit from it using the digital tool. I can give some examples. Some of the research shows that the digital interventions that they say used with like undergraduates, digital mindfulness intervention where students were maybe learning through a module or they were doing it at home through like a Zoom or something like that, at times it's very comparable outcomes. It's not like old school kicks its butt and it's like, whoa, this is way more powerful. We just finished this. We have a study and review where we did yoga and we designed, a couple of colleagues at UCL, we designed these videos. And the students did practice videos of the instructor at home, virtually, compared to those who did it in person, in-house. The outcomes were very similar. It wasn't like they got, these incredible outcomes by doing it in person. It was very comparable outcomes as far as like stress levels going down, anxiety, mindfulness levels going up. It was very significantly strong for the, what we would call like the virtual group or the online group. So that said, I want to shift a little bit with the conversation though to, what are the benefits or advantage of digital mindfulness, including AI? So let's just say not all things are always equal, right? Like there's presence of a human instructor and there's the relational aspect, right? But if let's say things are somewhat equal, AI and digital tools offer accessibility. I mean, somebody that can't get to a school or a teacher or who doesn't have parents that introduce them to meditation, they might stumble across it, on their phone or so. So accessibility, this puts it out to millions or billions of people. That's one of the strengths. With AI, another powerful benefit that's being developed that's going to only be enhanced is hyper-personal, what we would call hyper-personalization. It's going to be able to direct you in real time, but also use biofeedback. It's going to be able to use biometrics to say, oh, when you're doing this technique, it's noticing maybe that your heart rate is slowing or your brain waves are slowing, right? And it's picking it up through wearables like a watch, or you have a neurofeedback. And that AI is going to be able to tap in and connect into that data and guide you in real time and help dial you in. So if you're doing a technique, it doesn't take years or weeks or something to kind of get a result, figure out. It's going to be able to pinpoint what's working and what's not working, and then kind of give you, then it can base your next meditation based on that previous data on that session. So which a human cannot. I don't know if any human can. I've done checking in my tradition. We do checking where you meditate and they ask you some questions and they check in, but they're not able to pick up those biometrics. It's not humanly possible, really. I mean, they could be reading a.
Well,
device,
I guess
even then.
Coming back, those metrics are really
not real time adjustment. Yeah.
Hey everyone, we want to highlight a project we're very proud to support. Dr. Mark Gordon is releasing a new book series called Peptides for Health, focused on evidence-based practical applications of therapeutic peptides. The medical edition, Volume 1, launches December 22nd, 2025, followed by the consumer edition, Volume 1, on January 20th, 2026. That's more for people like me and Will. You can receive 25% off either edition using the promo code PFH25, with the medical edition discount running through January 31st and the consumer edition discount through February 20th. Proceeds help support the creation of the Children of Veterans program, and you can preview both books at the link in the show notes. And we've got everything linked in the show notes, so check it out. And thanks, Dr. Mark Gordon, for your sponsorship.
Yeah, well, it makes you really think about like what is, and I guess, all of us as meditators is the zero-sum game, of meditation to get more calm, to be more clear, to be more relaxed. You know what I mean? To, like you talk, I know meditation and breath work, it really helps, to shift from like the beta, brain waves into alpha, and I mean, if that's going to be the case, that'd be amazing. Like, 'cause I have a wearable all the time, and if it's able to kind of personalize in the moment, and then through the week and through the month, through the years of meditation, in order to get me to more of a meditative state. And how would we define that, actually? How would we define a meditative state of being?
That's an argument in the literature too among scholars, because like Muse, do you use a Muse? Is that the Muse headband? Have you tried?
No, I don't
the
do
neurofeedback.
So the Muse, I mean, John probably has. There's 3 of them, I think.
But I do use vagus nerve stimulation.
Okay. So the Muse works by reading, right? It has like 7 little sensors, and it reads the brain activity, and then it works with the app on your phone. And by the way, we've tested those, and that's a mixed, that's inconclusive as well, as far as, at least what college students is. Sometimes it works, and it's not necessarily outperforming traditional meditation. So that's one device.
Yeah.
But what it does is it does pick up your biofeedback, and it gets you to what it calls a calm state. And you said, what is that? But what is that? What is a meditative state? What is a calm state? I'm guessing. The reason I'm guessing is it's proprietary. They don't tell you the brainwave formula that you're using.
Well, so that's fucked up. It's fucked up.
That's messed up. So I'm theorizing that it's some alpha, you're getting into some kind of alpha frequency, maybe with a mix
theta.
of like theta. But I don't know. That's what's been debated in the literature, is how do you even test this thing? Because you don't even know, like, what are we saying is what's a meditative state? Is it alpha?
Well, I guess he would go in the other direction, and we're just walking around like we're in a freaking cult. Like lack of like actual individuality in some way.
Right.
Like, I mean, if this is so powerful and could really begin to manipulate, our state of being to a state of like, just like, oh, I'm calm, man. I see these movies in the future, and like people are just like, they're like the same person. They just look a little bit different. Like, I don't want that to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
have you guys seen Pluribus?
No, that's new.
No, I've heard of it.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a TV show on Apple TV.
Okay.
And it's kind of hilarious, but also kind of really it gets your mind going.
Oh boy.
Basically, it's kind of like a zombie TV show, but instead of them being flesh-eating zombies, they are all of one mindset. They all share one another's knowledge, and there's only like a handful of people on the planet that are immune to this.
Right.
But the everybody else is walking around super happy and calm and sharing. And there's a part of me that's like, oh man, that actually wouldn't be bad, because then there would be more peace on the earth. But then I'm like, but then there wouldn't be any individuality.
Right. There'd be no drama. There'd be no drama.
No drama. No drama.
I mean, not like
no reality TV. Right?
Yeah, no reality.
I don't know, but like,
have
you seen those studies done where they would talk about like coherence, and they still do them? I think like the
coherence
heart math.
Is awesome.
Coherence go all the way back to transcendental meditation, where they were trying to measure this like coherent effect. I don't know if I don't think they're testing individual people's brainwave states, but the general idea of that is you're sending out these coherent waves, right? Which is basically putting people in a very similar kind of brainwave state, because they're probably reducing from beta, or I'm theorizing they're reducing from beta into like more of an alpha theta or something like that. So I don't know if we would all become the same. That would be like
no.
What if the 3 of us are sitting in the same room and we all did meditation, right? When we finish, we're actually individualized. We're probably more ourselves than you know what I mean? Just because we meditate together, we don't become. Yes. Yeah, I don't know that's how it works.
But we've done the work to find out who we are too.
Right.
You know what I mean? We have versus like, if we're just, say we have an 18-year-old kid, You know what I mean? That's just like, they're just discovering who they are. Right. And then they're like, and then they're just like, oh, just meditate. And it's just like, oh, well, I'm a calm person now, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So, like, we're older men, so it's like,
true.
Like, I know.
I don't know about you,
more
Will.
susceptible.
Right, John's not old. John's still trying to deny his age.
I meditate.
Yeah. I mean,
telomere, it's anti-aging.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, everyone to live forever and put so much stress in the health system that we'll all be bankrupt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, see where technology takes it. You back to the 18-year-old. That's a good point, though. Somebody that doesn't have a foundation or life experience or prior meditation experience. So let me throw out my model. Here's my conceptual model. Okay. In an ideal world, I think somebody, and you might be surprised, I think somebody should learn in person. If they have accessibility to a experienced teacher, a proven curriculum, they can join a group, a mindfulness group, or their local, whatever it is, Buddhist society or university, and they teach, together. That's phase one. I really think if you can learn from a person, that's ideal. That's best. And you have that relationship, and within a group and within a community of practice, then you move. Then the next phase is you can try to start a digital tool, maybe bring in things and see if it enhances or make your practice better, because then you could tell, oh, it is working or it's not. You have a baseline and you go, this is helping, or no, this is hindering. I've tried things. I've tried neurofeedback. This is great. This is just distracting me. I don't need this. I have a mantra. I know how to do this, and this is actually hurting my practice. So then you're going to phase two, where you're adding digital tools, and then maybe phase three is where you might have found something that works, or you found the right mix, the right dosage of each, or whatever, and then you keep going forward. So, and tied to the first phase, why I say you should learn is, are you guys familiar with I'm sure you are, the research that come out of University of Wisconsin, like Richie Davison and all the research that's come out of there with the neurosciences. They did a study where they interviewed long-term meditators, and what they found was it wasn't a smartphone app, it wasn't technology that their first exposure that made them persist with meditation. What they found was it was a positive interaction with a person, like a experienced teacher. They were in a workshop or they were in a retreat. And then that correlated with long-term practice. Right. And I can't prove it, guys, but I swear that's my experience. I learned with a teacher and a group, and I stuck with it.
Well, funny enough, we just one comment. We had Chad McGehee on recently, and he's at the University of Wisconsin. He trains some of their athletes, primarily working with the women's volleyball team. But it's big there at the University of Wisconsin, and I bet you he is one of those people that they have had a positive interaction with. They're like, oh this
he's
guy's
great,
nice, chill, really great guy, and this is what he does. So I could totally see that. But quick shout out to Chad McGehee at the University of Wisconsin.
Yeah, they've done amazing research there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll just make more of a comment on and that teacher-student relationship is so key. I mean, it is what really has kept me in the arena. And I think it's what keeps me teaching as well. Like, I really enjoy sitting and being with a student, and also sitting and being the student when I do teach, whether it's even like on, I mean, it's different when I'm just doing a guided meditation. I'm just listening to some sort of master, and I really I've been all of last year. I worked on the waking up app. Is that the one with Sam Harris? Is it Wake Up? I think it's called
10%.
Waking Up.
No,
Waking Up. No,
Sam. Wake Up.
Dan Harris. Dan Harris is the 10% hair. Sam Harris is Waking Up.
Sam Harris is fantastic. I mean, and he has many, many, many different teachers. I actually wasn't too crazy about Sam Harris's meditations themselves. He was good, but too intellectual. But there's I was Joel Goldstein, months with Joel Goldstein. You know what I mean? Just an old master, from Insight Meditation Society, and Adi Shanti is another guy that I was really tuned into, because you just kind of speak my language, and I could hear the depth, the way that they're talking about meditation is, and that's I guess that's one thing that I'm just concerned about, or maybe I'm just concerned because I'm protecting. I don't want to be out of a job, but but I mean, no, but there is that. There's this kind of respect that comes when you sit as a group, or you sit. Reverence, exactly. Versus AI, it's I could just turn that shit off. Or it's if I get distracted, I hear something fun outside, I'm like, oh, fuck it, meditation over.
You know,
that's
well,
a good
you're
point.
training
That's a really
with
good
some
point.
really, like you train with some pioneers and some real amazing teachers. So, going all the way back to the guru student days, the idea of presence. It's something kind of hard to measure, but there's like a presence in being with that person, with that teacher or master and experienced teacher, right? His presence that you soak up, that energy, that presence that, you're not going to get that obviously going on an AI chatbot. So I say, when I write about this stuff, though, I say, well, why do we have to what is that phrase? Throw the baby out with the bathwater? Like,
I get it. I get it.
Why do we, don't get rid of that? That is such a powerful experience. I had it myself. Why get rid of that student teacher? If you can have that, we need to carry that forward. And then we need to add the innovation. We need to figure out how do we move that reverence for that tradition forward and then fuse in or bring in the innovation to make it even better.
Enhance.
But there are people with little asterisks if people can't get that, and I think maybe it's better they get an app if they have no teacher, right?
I agree.
Right.
If you can get it,
sure.
the energy of a teacher, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like therapy, right? Like therapy costs a lot of money, and then to get in with a therapist, sometimes it takes weeks.
Yeah.
Whereas you can jump on AI and be like, and literally have a conversation with AI right now.
Right.
Now, granted, there's certainly downsides to doing therapy with AI.
Yeah.
But it may be better than nothing, and it's in the moment, doesn't cost anything, and it's accessible to people who can't afford it. Right. So the accessibility, the scalability is the question, right? Like, you're not, I love you and I love your teaching, but you're never going to be able to scale in-person yoga teaching or in-person mindfulness teaching,
but like, hey, like these teachers I'm listening to, they've scaled through an app. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's the point. That's literally what I'm saying.
I know, but it's an AI teacher, versus like
that's a whole nother element. That's another
like
element,
I still feel some sort of reverence when I'm listening. I mean, Goenka has been one of my teachers as well. I did like a bunch of Vipassana. Have you done Vipassana, Steve?
No.
Have you done any Vipassana, Steve?
Yes.
Vipassana meditation?
I haven't done the retreat, but I have.
I mean, so Goenka was like, he's been dead a long time.
Right.
Fucking the guy, I still hear the guy in my head.
Right.
You know what I mean? He just cause he's like, he's real.
Right.
He's real. He's lived it. You know, he's a human being communicating to human beings versus like AI, which is what? I mean, it's just a digital platform synthesizing a bunch of information from another human beings, but has no soul, has no like the things that make us human to teach us. Which I hear like it's just like this fine line, between like what's a real teacher, I guess.
So the idea of a loop.
Yeah.
It's just keeping the human in the loop, so it would just be like if we did a project and we used AI on the project, or we're going to launch a business or do research, I think most people would say there should still be humans in the loop, meaning maybe the AI delivers it, but then the human checks on that and makes sure it's accurate and then gives it prompts and sends it forward. So why not? I think I agree with you in the sense we need to keep the human in the mindfulness instruction loop. Once we take that, if it's completely removed, who knows what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And then what are they serving? Like all these models, like John, you brought up a great fucking point. I mean, they're not, why wouldn't a company, think about it, like why wouldn't a company tell you what the meditative state they're trying to create? Yeah. Like why? Right. You know what I mean? It's like, that's really kind of fucked up, like why isn't there transparency there? I mean, I'm getting angry now. I don't know why, but I just like, because I feel like we're going to be, shut up, John. I'm going to keep going. Just kidding. Right. Like, no, I mean, I just like, I don't want to be hoodwinked again. I don't want to be manipulated. I don't want to be, I don't want to be something that's so incredibly necessary for anybody that wants to access their potential, right? For it to be fucked with. Like, I just don't want that to happen. But I understand where you're coming from, Steve. Like, this can be an enhancement. This can be a way that gets to people that don't have access to teachers, like, or all those things we have already mentioned. So, but this is a great conversation, guys. I'm really enjoying this. So thanks for entertaining all this, and holding this space for sure.
But there's so mindfulness is this force that's become really popular, and AI is this like an unstoppable force, right? But what's interesting is there seems to be, there's some relationship between the two. I'll give you a few studies. There was one study out of China where they found with undergrad, I think it was college students, where they found that when they increased the quality of mindfulness, when they enhanced mindfulness, they were able to look at AI more in a positive light, as a positive tool, and not be afraid about kind of what it's going to bring in the future. I find that interesting. So it's like we need to bring up the mindfulness in order to kind of deal with all the uncertainties that are coming. That was one, and this is a really weird one, is where AI almost they fed it mindfulness. They fed it meditation and calming images and stuff. And do you know that it responded and acted differently? So what the researchers did was they messed with it by throwing like disturbing images to it, and they found that it actually started to respond differently and give different type. I don't know if it was different advice, but it reacted differently. It was kind of in its own way. It was stressed out, right? It was like overwhelmed and confused, and then they fed it like meditative sessions and imagery and stuff, and it not to baseline, but it reduced its AI anxiety. So maybe we both, the AI and we need to all up our mindfulness. That's just really strange. Yeah, I just want to throw that out there. It's a really weird finding.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, if mindfulness helps AI,
it must be good.
Calm down from its AI anxiety, then it must be true.
It must be good.
Yeah. Who's its master? I guess is my thing.
Yeah, right.
Who's its master? Who is its master? John, where should we go next?
Well, I'm a dad. Steve, do you have kids?
I do. I have one at college up in Gainesville over at UF, and then the other's just accepted into college. She's finishing her senior year, so I have two daughters and older,
right on.
A little older now.
There you go.
Congrats.
So I've got young kids. We're both dads. From a parent's perspective, how can these tools be used to kind of humanize the student's experience, but then also as parents, what should we be looking out for?
That's a good question. I'll throw this out there. It's hard. I don't know what your experience with your kids. Like they will maybe entertain mindfulness or sitting meditation, or maybe they'll try do yoga. But you got to remember, this is a generation they're digital citizens, man, and they've been brought up on right on their phones, and they brought on social media. So when they look at something like mindfulness that's not necessarily embedded in our culture from the start, they're looking at it maybe from suspicion, or this is a little strange, or I don't know if this is even worth the time. Those are the barriers. But when it's packaged in digital, even like a smartphone app, the acceptance rate, and I'm talking from the research, the acceptance rate and acceptability goes up because you're speaking their language. You're speaking their language. So here's a good story. I went in, I taught a workshop to a bunch of undergrads. They were going to be student teachers. And there was 40 something of them. I said, okay, we're going to teach a workshop, and it was voluntary, and only 9 stayed. So out of 40, most of them split. They left class early. They didn't want anything to do with learning mindfulness meditation or any kind of meditation. 9 of them stayed. They were polite. I showed them a few techniques. I showed them breath work, mindful, loving kindness. They were polite and they went through the motions, but they weren't super engaged. I had one of those neurofeedback, one of those Muse devices in my bag. So the last 5 minutes, I whipped it, I put it on the table, and they said, "What is that?" And then I showed one of them how it works with the app. It was like Christmas morning, man. They all wanted to try it. They all wanted to see their scores and their calm score. So I know that's just anecdotal. That's just my experience, but the research would support that. Acceptabilities shoot way up. So yeah, we don't want them we don't want, maybe that's their only way of practicing mindfulness or maybe yoga, but I don't know, as far as getting them, an entry point or getting them kind of hooked on a practice or introducing it to them, we have to speak their language, and their language is digital.
Oh man. Yeah.
I don't know if that helps. As far as John, the second point, as far as what to look out for.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let them spend too much, just like any kind of, app or social media or something like that. Even if they're using like a calm app to go to bed or Headspace at night or something to fall asleep. I wouldn't let them use it too much. I would definitely have regulated times. Yeah, you have to have some structure and say maybe like, okay, I'll let you try that for 10 or 15 minutes, and then you're going to put it away. And then maybe if you want to do a walking meditation with me, that's fine. But I wouldn't let them, it's just like anything else. You have to set some barriers because they probably will be on it too long.
Well, that and, just about every app now has a social media aspect to it, right? Like Strava. Hey, it's a great thing to show that you've been running or you've been walking, but then there's you get likes and you get kudos and whatever. And there's one within I think an Insight Timer has a socials aspect to it.
Yep.
And we're, as adults, as parents, we're looking out for, hey, how many connections do you have? Who are those connections? Do you know them? Are you chatting with them?
Yeah.
And there's definitely value in having a social network. You mentioned that before, having a social network to support you in this meditation journey. I mean, Will and I, we're working on a meditation course right now that's going to be virtual, and it's coming out, in the next couple months. And it's going to have a social aspect to it. But as a parent, I think you have to be borderline intrusive and check what's happening on everything these days. It can be exhausting. I mean, and I've just now started. My 8-year-old is playing this thing, Roblox.
Yes,
it's a
kids play that growing up.
So Roblox is essentially the YouTube of video games. Right? You got thousands of people creating video games, and she loves it. But there's a social aspect to it. Like, hey, who is this person? Why did you accept their connection request? Anyway, again, sorry, I have a lot of squirrels that I'm chasing today, going down some rabbit holes, but basically I just want to talk about, as a parent, what we have to do to keep our kids safe.
The other
no
thing
question there.
Yeah, for the kids though too, is in teens too, digital, obviously they're going to be kind of most of them are going to gravitate towards those tools. But we didn't talk about, you guys do mindfulness for men. We didn't talk about differences in, the research shows differences in males and females.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. So in general, for the audience, female women meditate more, or have more women have a practice. This is like national data than men. But they learn it, they practice it differently. Like women include it more in other activities. So they might do mindfulness as part of yoga, as part of the yoga practice, like in a community. And then the males tend to gravitate towards like maybe a mantra meditation or focused breath meditation, and they like to tend to do it more alone for mental performance. Those are like the general findings. So we could use that too, boys with sports. I've hooked people in, some relatives and stuff with sports, and and say, hey, you play football, did you know so-and-so meditate, LeBron James is that famous picture of him sitting there, hey, this could help your performance. And then that's speaking their language, right? Then they go, oh, I got a benefit out of this. It's not so strange or whatever. I can actually become a better athlete. That could be like a way in with women. With girls, we have 400 something undergraduate students in the yoga courses here. We have 4 elective yoga courses. She teaches it, but she incorporates meditation and mindfulness into it. So they'll do like a meditation at the end, or maybe to start class. So that's another way with young people, is just to kind of package it or introduce it as part of something else, like maybe a movement or physical activity. And then they might see, wow, that's what some of those students find. They go, wow, I feel so much calmer after class, or more relaxed or something.
We've been packaging it as performance. That's how that's the only reason we're here.
Absolutely.
That's the only reason we're here, is because someone that John is working with, the doctor John is working with, said it to him like performance. And it really works. That's something that really resonates with men, is like higher performance. Like, and I'm glad there's more. I mean, what you mentioned about LeBron James and JJ McCarthy and all these other people that are just making you could see them meditating in some way, and then they go out and kick ass. Like, oh wow, why are they doing that? Well, it's not just about being faster, stronger, and but it's also being faster, stronger, and calmer. And it's just like
mental game.
The mental game is like like the biggest the most important thing you can muscle you can build is the 6 inches between your ears. 100%. And I think I don't know. I'm in New York. I have a very skewed reality here in New York, because it's like there are a lot of high performers here. People are looking for this stuff. You know what I mean? Because like it takes a certain gumption in order to kind of stay. You
But if
know,
you packaged it, if you guys went around and said we're going to sell, like you're going to be more compassionate and empathetic
no,
and
that
relational,
doesn't work.
it wouldn't
Nobody's
work.
showing up.
The
No one
guys wouldn't
shows
show
up.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So you
Well, how
have
about
to
this?
speak the language.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and that's like, and we have it.
It's just it's the pitch. You have the pitch
It's
refined to
absolutely
what
the pitch. It's the
what they're
fucking
looking
pitch.
for. Yeah.
It's the pitch,
There's nothing
and
wrong
it's
with
been
that.
fun to discover that, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm glad we have, like, or it's like making a focus. We talk to companies, like, it's like, you know, how do you focus in the age of distraction? It's like, oh, and it's just like, what happens when you are distracted? What does that do to productivity? How does that affect your bottom line versus
bottom
like
line.
if you get people online, you know what I mean? Online and more focused, it's like, what's going to happen? So, well, here's our last question.
Yes.
You know, so what do you, you know, I so thanks for joining us today and
Love
doing
it.
all the work and
Enjoying
putting it
it,
all.
yeah.
This is such a great fucking time.
Enjoying it.
But where do you hope like that you see, you know, AI and mindfulness and VR, you know, in the future, but also from like a policy perspective, and like, do you hope like it's you know, campuses are kind of buying into some sort of mindfulness program that's kind of ubiquitous and given to all the students in some ways, like, so. Where do you see the future of all this? Or
So my pitch, my pitch for that would be, you know, ancient kind of technology, because that's what meditation mindfulness is. It's ancient technology meets
100%.
meets modern innovation, right, or complements or you know, joins. So not one, you know, ruling out the other, but them complementing each other. And so where I see it, what I think really needs to be done is, so a lot of the interventions now are testing digital mindfulness type interventions. That work needs to continue. We need to build just kind of a robust amount, you know, body of findings or research that support, does it, you know, what works, what doesn't work, how do these affect mental outcomes when we start using these digital tools. So now what you see is AI is going to be infused into all those studies, into those research studies. There's a few, it's really, you know, small, it's really relatively small at this level, but they're going to start to infuse AI into these digital mindfulness interventions at universities, at colleges, and with general populations. So we need to build that. We need to build the data, and we need to say, okay, what's working? What could be harmful? What can we bring forward? What should we discard? So I think that's going to come a lot out of the research, but also out of practitioners. I really think, you know, these people that have developed like mindfulness-based stress reduction and Sean Fargo's, you know, certification.
That's who I got
Part of my
certification
pitch is,
through.
these experienced, renowned, well-known instructors and have established curriculums need to consider, how do the digital tools, particularly AI, how might they be infused into the curriculum, or how might they impact or affect the curriculum without maybe taking away the quality, you know, destroying the relationships, because they're the pioneer, you know, they're the people I think that are going to help bring this forward. Really is the meditation, is the teachers and the students. So that's another part of it that needs to go forward. I would just like to see a healthy, sensible approach, balanced approach to it, where we go forward and we don't discard the old school, but we embrace the innovation and we try to maximize that as we move forward, and we take a practical, sensible approach. We have safeguards. We don't go gung-ho and say this is the greatest thing, AI is the great, but we take it step by step in a reasonable approach. We don't get too excited, but yet we are a little enthusiastic about it, and we see the possibilities, but we also see the pitfalls, and then we just advance our society forward, mental health wise, mindfulness wise, in a practical, calm, mindful, intentional manner.
I like the way you slowed down there,
There
Steve.
you go. There you go.
It's so simple, guys. Right now, it's going to be very complex.
Yeah. You know, and you know, I just want to make one comment. Like, one thing that I've been kind of tracking from like actually the whole political realm and how we're bringing AI into our society, not just from a meditation standpoint, but overall. And there's just kind of this fight going on between the federal and the state. And it's like, you know, you know, the state level wants to regulate AI, you know, on the state level, which I think is great. We have 50 states regulating AI. I think we can come eventually to some sort of understanding of like what AI can do, how it works well in society, where it doesn't work in society, versus like a federal mandate and one size fits all, which it could be very, very dangerous. So,
Yes.
you know, I don't know if there's been I don't know if there's a federal mandate coming out of like the executive branch about that, or I don't know if they're able to do that, but I'm just like, AI is like, such an incredible critical time in the history of our nation, of the world, with AI coming on. And this has been a really wonderful conversation, Steve. I hope we can look back on this conversation in the next few years and be like, all right, this is, we're right on a bunch of these things, and also we're true, or what we're predicting hopefully isn't coming true, is coming true in some ways, depending on what's important to really humanity. I'm just afraid of us, our humanity, who we are as people, the way we've been doing things for so long, to a lot of that to be taken away, and just us to be just a slave to another algorithm. But now it's just even more powerful than ever. So so thanks for this, Steve. Any last words, or please talk about your books, or where people can find what you're doing? That'd be great.
Sure, thanks. The book is Meta Meditation: How Neuroscience, Virtual Reality, and AI Are Changing Practice and How You Can Benefit. So it looks at the research behind neuroscience, how that's changed, and what we've learned about mindfulness meditation, and then it looks at some chapter on VR, and it gets into AI, not as much, but there are chapters, and then it kind of gives a protocol to balance these. It's a digital mindfulness tool, kind of guidebook or handbook is what I'd call it.
Nice.
So you can get that at Amazon. There's pre-sales of it. You can pre-order it.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, pre-order. You can pre-order ahead of time on Amazon. I guess we can put the link down there for.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we definitely
it'll be released by Routledge in the spring.
Congrats.
It'll be out by May. So thanks so much. Yeah, I hope that helps people kind of navigate these uncertainties around.
And then as far as contacting you, Steve, what's the best way for them
I'd say
to
I'm
reach out to you?
I've become more active on LinkedIn, so if they want to reach out through LinkedIn and connect with me there would be good, or we could put my email in there. We can email me and reach out, or through the university. I'd be happy to talk with them and connect. Yeah.
We'll do that.
Yeah, and we're going to be putting a lot of content out there, Steve, through LinkedIn, and that's a great, we just comment and just get involved with that. There are the people that are attached to what we're doing and love what we're doing. That's a great way to kind of see, and then kind of dive into stuff, and it helps the algorithm for us, if we're going to talk about technology. You know what I mean? But honestly, that's a great way. Stay in the conversation. Stay in the conversation.
I think it's the conversation. I think that gives us, and there's a lot of AI, very smart AI people on there, a lot of mindfulness people. It keeps the conversation live and going, and I think it's an essential element going forward.
I completely do.
Same.
Yeah.
Well,
Steve,
thanks so much,
really
Steve.
Wonderful.
It's been awesome.
Great.
Really interesting conversation. And again, like I said, timely. So, thank you, Will. Thank you, brother. Great conversation.
Always.
And for those listening, thank you for tuning in. And we ask that you share it with anyone and everyone who you think will get something from it, which is just about anyone. So, hey, thanks for tuning in to our audience. And until next time, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Peace, guys.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope you walk away with some new tools and insights to guide you on your life journey. New episodes are being published every week, so please join us again for some meaningful discussion. For more information, please check out mentalkingmindfulness.com.